Okay, so now I have to do Romans chapter 1, part 2, because I didn't finish that chapter. So, halfway through the chapter or so, Paul begins to talk about people who do not like to retain God in their mind. And he's now, before you just say, "Oh, this is where you're going to condemn me," don't do that, because everybody gets the same treatment here ultimately. So don't feel like you're getting singled out. This is just the part we're on right now. So Paul takes the concept of people who have basically just turned away, and he's talking to both Jews and Gentiles in Rome. He has definitely got a group of both there that he's talking to, and he is starting to go into in the second part of chapter 1. He starts to go into the Greek, like kind of the Greek culture, or maybe Roman culture, which came kind of on the heels of the Greek, very similar, where people might ask, well, how come they don't even know God? They don't even they're not fighting God. They just completely abandoned him, like they have these different gods. They don't even acknowledge the God of the universe, the creator God. He's gone from their thoughts, And Paul explains how that happened, which is they started off saying they didn't want that, and they didn't like to retain God in their thinking, because God points out our sin. God, when we fail, God lets us know. He did that with Cain. If you think about Cain, Cain was being told by God, this is the way I want you to do this, and Cain didn't like that. He's like, nope, I don't want to do it that way. I have a plan that I like, and I want my plan to be accepted. And God said, it's just not. I don't know what to tell you. It's not accepted. This is not the way I told you to come to me, and you can do it all you want, but I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be accepting it. So God was there at the beginning, and then we don't really know. I mean, it takes place, this conversation takes place in what, 1 or 2 paragraphs, if that. And next thing you know, Cain kills his brother, and then he gets kicked out of the garden, or out of the not out of the garden, but out of the Lord's presence. Apparently the Lord had a place where his presence was, and Cain was told, you need to leave. I don't even want you around anymore. So this is basically what Paul's talking about here. There comes a point, and again, don't rush to be at that point, at this point. It can happen, but God, as we see through the rest of the book of Romans, God also comes to redeem people who are at this place. So even if you look at this and you go, wow, that's me, don't let your heart be crushed to the point of despair by that. What Paul's doing is he's just trying to let you know, look, if you think you don't know where God is and you can't find him, this is why. Because you are a part of a group of people who have intentionally pushed God out of their life. And God said, well, all right, if that's what you want, I'll let you do that. And then they just become worse and worse. They become confused sexually. They become confused about family. They become, it says they're disobedient to their parents. It says they are people who really don't know God. They have no mercy. And you start thinking about the Greek and Roman culture, and merciless. I mean, commit a wrong against the wrong person, and you're thrown to the gladiators, or whatever. I mean, I guess you'd get thrown in with the gladiators and have to fight them, or to get thrown to the lions. And people come and cheer and clap because these are the bad people. They deserve this. So they become the whole culture became merciless and idolatrous. And Paul is just like, wow, isn't that awful? It is. It's crazy, isn't it? Because they really didn't want God in their thinking, he let them do it. And he turned them over to exactly what they asked for, which was a godless world. And it was very sad. So that's the end of chapter 1. Don't stop. Go on to chapter 2. Well, let me just give you an intro to chapter 2. Chapter 2, he starts talking to religious people, and he says, you're doing the same thing. So if you think this was to condemn you as a non-religious person, it's not. There's plenty of condemnation to go around. And as we get through the book, you'll see there's a lot more than condemnation. There's lots of hopeful stuff. That's the whole point.